anything for your coverage now, you need to call our license.
Okay, I went live on YouTube.
There are zero cost plans available in some areas. Don't wait till next year. Get all the Medicare benefits you need to serve. Call a licensed agent today.
800-430-6748. 800-430-6748. That's 800-430-6748. Paid for by Senior Choice Plans. The following program is presented by its producer, host, and sponsors.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Willie Saunders Christian Fellowship Council radio show. We are live on YouTube. You just go to YouTube and search for Willie Saunders at CFC, and you will see us live. You see our beautiful faces. You'll see Dr. Ben Johnson. Willie Saunders is going to be in and out today. He's kind of busy. Say hi, Willie.
Oh, God bless you. God bless you. Hello, house. Everybody, is just a blessing from God for us to be in the land of the living. And I'm just so happy to be able to be here.
Amen.
Yes.
That's great. We have Claudine join us. Say hi, Claudine.
Hello, everyone. Good to be here today in the land of the living. I want to say praise the Lord and, bless everyone on the show. And let God be ahead of us, lead us as we basically come to you live.
Okay, and we have Anthony James, there's Tony James, who's moving around. Stay steady there. Huh?
I'm sorry, I'm at home, so I'm,
All right. So listen, we have a lot going on in the country. We have a lot going on. Oh, Anthony, you're upside down now. Look at him.
I'm sorry.
I thought you were doing some push-ups or something.
Nah.
We have a lot going on in the African American community, as we know. There's a couple of things that are just really exciting. There's a couple of things that are distressing. We know what's going on in Canada and Australia. We know that things are happening here, and we want to talk about them. We want to hear from you. We're going to. You can text us on our Facebook page, Willie Saunders Facebook page. But please go to cfcpage.com, our website page, cfcpage.com, and press the like button there, but also give us a donation because we can stay on the air, because we are a voice for the voiceless, quite frankly, because we go a little bit counterculture, a little bit different, but we're staying primarily within the African American community. And I'm half African American because I'm Italian. I'm halfway there, so that's good for me. Yeah.
You're one of us.
One of you.
Yeah.
Ben, what do you want to kick off and have a conversation today about? This the first topic is yours. Go.
I mean, the topic I was just talking to someone that this is COVID.
You're breaking up, Ben. I'm sorry.
Okay, I want to talk about the COVID. Can you hear me?
Yes.
And COVID situation, talking to someone about it. Can't hear me?
No, Ben, you're breaking up. I'm sorry. You either got to call in, you got to get headphones because you're working on a speakerphone. So I'm going to repeat what he said. He said, we want to talk about COVID. Okay. I'm sick of COVID. I don't know if you guys are.
I am. I'm just.
Let's talk about something different.
COVID.
I hear you.
Right now, I'm over COVID. Like I'm through with you. Okay.
Well, I think some of us have. Claudine, did you have COVID? Did you catch it?
No,
Anthony,
I
did you?
but family members
Never did.
did.
But I think Ben, did you have the COVID?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Okay. Pretty recently, right?
Yes, sir.
So what was your experience with it?
My experience was that it's a kind of different type of situation. My face was all sore. My face was sore. My body was sore. I couldn't eat now. My chest was hurting.
You're breaking up again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey Ben, you're gonna have to.
Won't you? I tell you what, you guys go ahead. I'll be right with you.
If you
might have to change your position. Maybe you had to change your position in the house or something. Maybe.
Okay.
All right.
So you said you got it, Anthony? Did you?
No, I never had it.
No,
No.
no, okay. And
Well,
I think, did
Yeah.
you get it? Did you get it, Gary?
No, I'll tell you something about me. Ben's coming back in.
All
No,
right.
I've never had the flu. So I haven't had it, thank God. My wife has never had it. And we've been pretty lax about it, quite frankly, where we don't wear masks unless we're absolutely required to.
Yeah.
Of course, we don't make problems.
Yeah.
But I've had, it hasn't been an issue for me. But by the other hand, I've had two of my friends pass away. So,
From COVID.
yes.
Yeah.
No.
And you and your wife have never had even the flu or just COVID?
Neither.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Wow. Most
But
people
what-
catch it. Yeah.
Yeah, but what I wanted to talk about was
That's
it was
not even me. I don't have the flu or anything too. So thanks be to God.
Yeah. I've had the flu, but I never had COVID. So, but I get over any kind of common cold pretty quick.
that's good.
There he is.
Yeah, much better.
Yeah. What I really wanted to talk about it, I talked to somebody very important. They said it's now the COVID-19 is called it deals that they're going through it now. I forgot the name of it.
Hey,
It deals with the mind.
someone's got a radio on. Who's got a radio on?
It might be me. It might be my TV. Hold on. Let me turn it. I think it's on. Hold on.
But it's called psychosis. Psychosis COVID-19.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
That
Yeah.
means that people are catching it in the mind. They're driving them crazy.
Oh, really?
And yes. So now the situation is it's happening
Wait.
in New York.
So if I get psychosis COVID, I got to go see a psychiatrist, not a doctor,
Well,
right?
Well, I think Gary, you might have it already.
Sounds like that. It sounds like that, Gary.
But Gary, seriously, it's happening in New York. And to few the patients, the doctors are saying that what they did, they gave all these people all this medicine. Instead of not giving it to them, it made them worse. At first, it started with their eyes. They went blind. They went into having seizures. They went into having things as far as shut down. They had heart problems and everything, but they didn't supposed to give them this medicine because the psychosis just adds to it. So you have to understand what you're dealing with and what is the symptoms. And I was hearing that, I'm like, my God, what is going on with this stuff? So yeah, I was just saying that. So people who, might be going through some things and have to go to the doctor because of that, make sure you get checked out properly. That's why I brought it up. I don't want to hear about it no more because I had it for a month. I was on breathing treatments. I was on all kind of stuff. And I'm pretty strong person. I caught it for my son again from California. He came and there it was. So it's just, I was just mentioning that a person said that it just tears you up. And guess what, Gary? Them people was fully vaccinated.
Well, you get the vaccination so you don't catch COVID, but if you get vaccinated and you catch COVID, the reason you caught the COVID is because the person who wasn't vaccinated, you caught the COVID from the person who wasn't vaccinated. That makes no sense to me. Right?
Oh,
that does.
But does the vaccine? I want to ask a question. Isn't it kind of like the flu? It basically somebody said to me yesterday that you know what, when you say COVID, it sends fear and shock through the body. So she's just gonna refer to it as flu, like our family caught the flu and we got over it. So when she call it that,
it's
the
a different.
It's not there.
I
know she knows it's not the flu, but what I'm saying, when you get the shot, it's just like the flu shot where you may catch it, but you may not die from it. It's not preventing it. I didn't know that it was supposed to prevent it altogether.
It's supposed to prevent it. It's like this. When you have a flu shot, it doesn't mean that you're not going to get the flu. It means the symptoms is not going to go the full maximum.
Exactly. So isn't that what the COVID vaccine does? That it basically helps you so that you don't necessarily die from it if you catch it, but it doesn't mean that it prevents it altogether.
Yes. And that's what happened to me.
Okay, so that as long as we're clear on that, because
Yes.
I've heard a lot of people say this thing should be preventing you. I know you get
No.
it, and that's not the right thing. And I don't want us to be saying that, and that's not the right thing.
But the whole thing I found out with people who caught it, who was doing the medicine, doing the herbs and stuff, it didn't help none whatsoever. So it's not all that stuff, people taking the tea and stuff, it can happen to what I'm saying. Some people who got the full vaccine, some people just taking the herb, they still got it. So it doesn't mean that everybody's gonna catch it the same. That's the whole thing about this thing. Some people catch it to a certain degree, and some people catch it totally bad. It works on different people different ways. But again, I'm glad it didn't hit me as hard, but I was messed up.
Now
for a minute.
Yeah.
We are very excited. We had a little bit of a mix-up. We thought it was going to happen this week. We had a scheduling conflict, but we're going to have in June or July Dr. Tenpenny, who has been very vocal on the air, talking about the COVID, talking about. She's called the voice of reason, drpenny.com, dr10penny.com. I'll send you the link here. Now, but she's been canceled everywhere. The cancel culture is really strong. But we at least, we here on this radio show, we are going to give people a chance to speak. We want to hear from both sides.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's been on many, many radio shows. She's booked from now to July. So we got her in July. I'm excited to talk to her. And I had a brief conversation today with her executive assistant, who was telling me some medical things that were over my head about COVID and about the relationship of this and other things. So it'll be an interesting thing. Again, we just present the different topics, the different people. We are not condoning any person, whether we're for that or not for that. So we want to be clear, but we want to give people a voice. In America, it seems like the opportunity for speaking up has gone away, and that'll be very interesting. So if you get a chance, go to dr10penny.com. Look what she has to say. I have no knowledge before. I just was fortunate enough to get in touch with her executive assistant and book her. So I'm excited about getting her. Hopefully this COVID thing will be gone by then. I have a feeling it won't be. I have a feeling that as soon as the election is over, all of a sudden it will go away. But
don't say it, Gary.
I got
Don't say it, Gary.
I got Dr. Ben going there on that one. But we're on. I wanted to let everybody know. Just please join us on Facebook now. You can see we're CFC. Christian Fellowship Council on Facebook, Christian Fellowship Council. We have the link there to a YouTube page. If you want, go there and just type in a question. If you have a question for us, please go to cfcpage.com and like us there. We're on the air with Willie Nelson, I keep on saying that, the Willie Saunders show. I'm just a co-host of him. He's the main host. He can't be here today, but we're on Tuesdays from 3 to 4, Wednesdays from 3 to 6, and Fridays from 3 to 4. So we have different times. So we're excited about that. So Claudine, we want to hear your point of view. Anthony, did you know you're muted? So you have to unmute. Okay.
Oh, sorry about that. I thought I wasn't muted. Yeah.
That's okay. So as Claudine's turn, what do you want to say? What do you have to say about the COVID today?
What I want to say is that, you know what, we should pray and pray and pray without ceasing and put God first. At the end of the day, this is here. But I think what is happening now is that the entire nation, globally, not just nationally, but globally, there's this fear that is in everyone.
Yes,
we are running, and we're just running. We're just running everywhere and crying out COVID.
Yes. I was just talking to a friend of mine, lives in Manhattan. He says they're so afraid of COVID, they don't go out. They just stay in their apartment.
Exactly. It has taken over our lives. It take over everything. And be honest with you, we don't know what this thing is going to be. We don't know what it looks like. And to be scared of even being in the house or being outside. It's not what God wants for us. We're
No,
children
not at
of
all.
the Most
Not at
High
all.
King.
Two
We
weeks ago,
should.
I ran a race. I was running a race with 1,000 people. We're crunched together like this in a starting line. So it's like,
But
I'm
you
not
know
afraid.
but you know
Listen.
the reason I said something was to put people on awareness if they're going through something, that if they happen to go to the hospital, you got to make sure you get diagnosed right. I don't
Yeah.
want to talk about this, but
Well,
if
knowledge
something
is
is,
good. Knowledge
yeah,
is good. Listen, we need to know what is happening, and then we need to basically say we need to take the precautions. But what
yes,
needs to be at the forefront is our
yes,
faith. Our
yes,
faith, which is wired in
yes,
Jesus Christ, in the principles that it is that we
yes,
know
Thank
as
you.
Christian.
Thank
This is
you.
Christian Fellowship Council. And so what we're saying is that everything will be going on, but what we want you to know is that you have the great counselor, you have the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords. Get the
yes,
facts, do what it is you need to do, what you believe in. I understand, because belief
yes,
kills and it cures. And then you live on that foundation of Christ, that all things will work out for our good. When
God
we
bless.
shall
Yeah.
live and not die. You
God
Yeah.
bless.
understand? Because God promised that to us. So that's my
yeah.
point. That's how I feel.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
great.
Your
That's
turn.
great.
Huh?
Tony, it's your turn.
Oh, well, I agree. I agree with Claudine. We definitely need to pray, especially about this this war that might happen, may not happen with Israel, with the Ukraine and Russia, and then the United States is sending money over to the Ukraine. We always have our nose in stuff that we shouldn't have our nose in, and poking our business, just because we have interest in natural resources and other
Wag the dog. The tail wags the dog, Anthony. The tail wags the dog. We got it.
All
Yeah.
right,
Look over
Gary.
here. We got this problem in Ukraine. We got to look at. Don't worry about what's going on in this country.
Don't worry about COVID over in America. Don't worry about homelessness. Don't worry about crime. Let's worry about other countries and
Right.
So, but yeah, we got to pray about that. We definitely have
I
to.
agree.
The other thing is that's the biggest thing. But the Bible talks about that, as well as these times. Israel has always other nations are definitely coming against it, and it's like
Yes.
a daily and weekly increase. And the Bible talks about that in the end times, about how the nations will come against Israel, and
Yep.
then
It's
just
prophesied.
it's prophesized, and I think people don't really
Don't know the
think it's
Bible.
real.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question for everybody, which is in my mind. Now, we
Yes.
know for those of you, most of the people know what's going on in
Yes.
Canada. The truckers
Yes.
have decided that they're tired of the mandates, they're tired of shutting down businesses, they're tired of the restrictions that are being put more and more on. For instance, there's a place that if you're not vaccinated, you can't go shopping. Okay, it's getting pretty insane. So they're really standing up. And what I'm thinking about is the Revolutionary War with America. The churches were very involved with fighting against tyranny. My question for everybody here is, where are the churches today?
Hallelujah.
I don't hear a voice of the
You
churches
don't.
out there saying, well, we feel this way. Now, what happened in Germany, and I just got to tell you, I hate to compare it, but what happened was when Hitler was coming into power, the churches said, well, he's doing this, he's doing that. And they agreed, they voted him in. And after all the horrible things happened, the German people en masse left the church. They wanted nothing to do with the church because the church helped bring him and the Nazis into power, and they got a world war and they got attacked and their country got split in two. Remember East and West Berlin, remember that? And so they blamed the church. So it didn't happen in the Revolutionary War. So I don't have an answer. I think this is a discussion, but I don't see, I'd like to see more of the church getting out there and having a conversation about what they think we should be doing. Do you agree?
But
Yes,
Gary,
definitely.
Yeah.
I think what I think if I was a pastor, we don't deal with social events in the church too much, or politics, because we was told not to. It's too much social things going on out here that we should have our hand. We should have a completed community, or just community of leaders that's looking at the things that's going on in their communities. Because you can't bring liquor stores and all kind of stuff in the community if you don't have the leaders saying, come on now, we or just have that we ain't gonna able to come here to these guys and put a liquor store up. Now you got in some communities, they know better, but in some other communities, we're allowing all this stuff to go on, and we just stand in the church. And I think, and I know for myself, this cannot keep going on, because people are setting up situations in communities and no one is saying anything about it. In a sense, it might be some people, but how do we come out of the church and say the leaders have to not only look at the community, but protect? You need watchmen. You need people who's watching.
I get a sense of dominoes. All the dominoes are being set up, and the church is kind of going along with it, maybe not aggressively, but it's going to all fall at one time, which happened in Germany. Let me give you an example. We're talking about America. I've heard so many pastors say, we don't get involved in politics. We just talk about Jesus. Well, what happens is you give up that area, you give that area up to the others. So we're not involved with sports, so we'll give the sports over to the people that aren't Christians. We're not involved with the colleges. No, we have nothing to do with the colleges, so we're going to give that up to the people that are not Christians. We're not involved with business, and people who are not Christians, we give them up. And what happens is we turn around, and then now we're the ones being attacked. Christianity is involved with everything.
I agree with that.
And Jesus himself went against the government, so it would be kind of. I mean, he was crucified by the government, by Pharaoh, So it's just like, so he had direct communication and dealings with government and government issues in his neighborhood and other towns and cities. So it's not like we shouldn't talk about that stuff, because, our Lord and Savior definitely talked about that and confronted those issues with those people, cheating in the temple, turning over tables. He confronted stuff like that. And he talking to rich people and telling them, just everything. So it's like we in this day and age, it seems like the church,
okay. So let me help you. How did the church deal with political issues in the Old Testament? They cried out to the Lord.
They cried out to the Lord,
as a group of people. They cried out aggressly.
One movement.
I don't see any crying out. Do you? I said, we don't get involved with that.
But I also,
we're not going to get involved in that.
But I also think because you have the 501c3s and the government funding in churches now.
The Johnson amendments.
And a lot of them don't want to talk and mention Christ or anything spiritual, because then funding will be removed from the church.
Okay,
so that started with Johnson, President Johnson. He already knew he foreseen that this was going to be something he had to deal with, or back then the politics and all that stuff. The church was going to get into that. He knew that, so he foreseen
what was happening. What was happening in the 60s was that the Democrats were losing certain areas.
Always the Democrats.
Exactly.
Well, I'm just being honest. He was a Democrat, so he enacted this thing to gain control. You get 10% off. Oh, it's all about money. So the churches jumped into this thing. Yeah. But technically, churches still don't know that you are legally, even if you're a 501(c)(3), you're legally you can talk against any political issue or any political law. You just cannot recommend any political party or political person. So let's say John Doe is very pro-abortion, for argument's sake, and you don't believe in it. You're allowed to come out and say, John Doe is pro-abortion, and we don't believe in abortion And, you know, you have to vote the way you want. But as a Christian, I don't want to vote for someone who's pro-abortion. That's legal in the churches. But the pastors, by the way, I was chairman of Christian Coalition years ago. I went to visited many churches, and they were so afraid that they wouldn't even take that step. But this year, we know that a letter was sent to many, many churches in Virginia by the vice president, which is to asking this congregation to, you know, promote the candidate. Technically, it's illegal, but when you have one party in charge of the police, nothing's going to happen. Oh, there's Ben. I know he's getting mad at me.
I'm not getting mad at you, Gary. All I know, why don't we quit using Democrat and Republican just so he got voted?
All right, left and right. Is that good?
Yes, not good.
Sorry, yeah.
Okay, but you know, when you
By
don't,
the way,
either.
I'm not a registered.
Yes.
I'm not a registered Republican. Just so you know.
I know
I'm
that,
an independent.
Gary. Yes,
It's right here, brother. Me too. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is when you allow different things to come into your community, just like the abortion clinics.
Yes.
How much money are they getting for every baby that's an abortion? People, you know, I just recently looked up some things, some statistics. It's kind of mind blowing what they really get. Every baby that's being aborted, the doctor in the place get $25,000. So you looking $25,000. And so yes, $25,000 for the.
And you know, now this is going back 10 years ago. 66% of every abortion was in the Black community.
Yeah, yep. And that's what I'm talking about. Why they setting up camp, but they supposed to talk about not aborting your baby, but they're supposed to talk about ways of helping the woman, but also they're encouraging her if she's too young, put the baby up for adoption, or more or less get rid of the baby. So now we're looking at this, what is really being told. So that's what I believe the leaders supposed to tell the community what is really going on. Why are they here and what is actually happening? And we're not telling the folks in the community what's going on. And that's the problem I have. You got all these different entities coming into your community. Then you look around, then you look around in other communities, you don't see it. So why is they setting up in Black communities? Because it's a money thing, and we have to be leaders that talk about stuff. Now, my program about to come in there. We can keep talking about this if y'all want to, because I got to leave at 3:50. So,
oh yeah. By the way, this is Coach Up. Thank you for reminding me. I apologize, Ben. We got so involved. I want to introduce Dr. Ben Johnson. He has his doctorate in philosophy.
Thank you.
He is dedicated to helping people reach their potential. He has a doctorate in being able to help people with behavior. He's also an expert at recognizing patterns in people's lives that are preventing them from moving forward. So what happens is once he gets involved with you, once he helps you, he will help identify a possible pattern in your life that's been stopping you from getting where you need to be. And that's very important because many people don't see their negative patterns. All right. So I want to turn this over to Dr. Ben Johnson. Thank you, Ben. You're going to go on to 350, right?
Yes, that was excellent, Gary. But what I had a program, but it's going to take a little bit more. It was called "What is Holding Us Back." I really wanted to talk about some principles that they probably never heard of being done. But I'm talking about something I had a slight dream the other day.
I had a dream.
I had a dream, Gary. And the dream was based on, Gary, something else. The dream was based on, God was telling me, and I was asking him about our purpose. He said, why did they want to kill Jesus? And I was half asleep. I said, in my mind, I was just thinking about it. He said, why did they want to kill Jesus? Because they always was talking about his purpose. Why was he coming here? Ooh, so he said, when you look at purpose, it's the number one thing. He said they killed thousands of babies. They said thousands of babies, young, they said little ones, because they understood that it was something coming to deal with purpose that was going to change the life of the world. So when you look at that and you tie that in, you saying to yourself, the purpose I'm talking to people and they say, well, we could take it or leave it. Or I'm talking to young men that's in a prison and young ladies. Purpose is the number one thing, because with purpose, people don't understand. Energy comes, creativity comes. But better yet, I found out your anointing. More confident you are about your purpose, the more the anointing that breaks yokes is going to be given. And then
So
what
what do you do with a person that doesn't know the purpose? Many people I know, they don't know the purpose. How would you help them?
The purpose, when you don't know your purpose, I always tell people it's at least about 3 to 5 things that you really love to do that you really didn't look at. Is something that you always been doing, most likely, that you would do for no money. It's just something. Gary loves running. Gary loves riding bikes. Gary loves doing certain things. Gary loves talking about politics. It was something in Gary likes to write. It's something that Gary really wanted to do that he would do for no money. And most people, when you look at it, that's how you really find your purpose. It's something that you've been doing all the time.
Wow.
And that's how I look at it. Now, I'll talk about the young man that was Daniel in the Bible, and they said he had all wisdom. He was 17 years old. So I said, God said he understood what purpose was. But when he looked at his family or the community trained him in mathematics, science, dreams, and everything. You have to train your kids in everything, because if they don't know their purpose at that age, then if they train great in understanding math, science, English, and when they do get their purpose, they already equipped. They said they knew all wisdom. I'm saying this boy's 17, they 17 years old. How could they get that? Their parents identified with them when they was young what their purpose was. And once they identified with it, then when the captivity came, the people, they not only looked at them, look how they look. They look groomed. They look a certain way. They look like they was eating.
This is very, very important, because if, as a young person, if you know your purpose, you kind of got like a head start in life, because most people don't. So what kind of parent, what do you recommend a parent can do to help a child discover their purpose?
Well, what my parents did, they put me in all kind of programs. My mother always told me I was good at, talking, and so it's all type of programs. They put me in, and they groomed me not only in sports, but like I said, English, math, science. This young man called me to listen to the program, Gary. He said his son he put him in private school. He was good at math and science in elementary, math and science when he was in junior high, math and science when he was high school. He was exceptional. So now he's going to be an engineer dealing with science and math. He already knew that his son, because of the strong points and the love for this particular curriculum, that his son was going to be doing something dealing with engineer. It's something that you're going through school with your kids probably now with your parents that they great at. And you say, God, he's great at math. I just love math, Daddy, or your daughter.
Can I say something on that?
Yes, sir.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just went through that myself. Like last week, just reading devotionals, and I read I read a different devotional, then I read the proverb of the day. I go along with whatever the date it is.
Yes, sir.
So I was reading Proverbs. I forget the proverb, but that one that says, train up a child in the way that they should go, and when they're old, they won't depart from it. And it hit me because I read it, a lot of times, and I realized that the parents, the enlightenment that God gave me was that the parents should know something about how that child was supposed to be raised. So then they can instill, and then when they get old, if it should depart from them, whatever talent and skills that God put in them, it kind of comes back. So I thought about, like, I was raised in a Christian family, but I wasn't raised up in that, train up a child in the way he should go. But as I got older, I started, finding out certain things, that I have a love of music and talent and skills in that department and other areas of art. But because my mother didn't foster that and be exactly, you don't know that. And so, but God brings it back to you, and it's like, this is what I've instilled in you. Because I was wondering, like, where did all this stuff started coming from? Where it started coming from? I was like, and then I started thinking.
That's a great point.
That's it.
That's That's a great point.
Dr. Johnson, Dr.
Yes, yes,
Johnson,
yes.
when he said that, it reminds me of Jesus's first miracle. When Mary, his mom, went to him and said, you know, they're out of wine. And he said, woman, it's not my time.
My
as yet."
time.
And what did she do? What did she say? She turned to the
Follow.
servants and said, do whatever he told you.
He
This
tells
is
you to
a
do.
mother that knows the capability of her child. So she just say, do whatever he tells you to do, because she knows, she saw it, she fostered it, and she knew it was time for it to come forth. So she just basically, you know, and this is what you're saying, which makes sense. It does.
And it makes great sense, because when you looked at Daniel and them, they knew everything. When you're 17 years old and you defy the government, the greatest government at the time, Babylon, and saying, I'm gonna do this court based on how I was taught. I'm not gonna eat this kind of food. I'm not gonna do this kind of stuff. Don't go up to that window. They went up there. They understood something. And like you said, that they family groomed them already.
Their parents,
to be who they were. And that's what was Tony was talking about. That was Gary, and that was Claudine. So when I looked at that and I said, God said, you know, at the same time, when you look at things and you see people out here, they don't understand that all this crime and stuff, every time somebody dies, that's a purpose dies. Every time somebody goes to jail or dies or something happened, that's a purpose that's snuffed out for a certain amount of time, or die or commit suicide. That person had a great word that was called to them, or an assignment that God gave them. Some of them was to cure cancer. God knew all this cancer and all these things was going about. He gave everybody a purpose. So he knew that the situation at hand, whatever was going on, I gave somebody a purpose to do it.
Yeah, sometimes, and some,
Dr. Johnson, I just want to, if there's anybody out there listening who finds themselves wandering in their life, maybe lost, maybe lacking a purpose or lacking direction, Dr. Ben Johnson's here to help you. How would they get in touch with you, Dr. Johnson?
My telephone number is 678-314-6027. But I have a website also, Gary. It's called coachupwithtalent.com.
I'll pull it up in a second as soon as I get it. Coachupwithtalent.com. Go ahead then.
But when I'm looking at Gary and I'm looking at Claudine and Tony, I can see in them through the program, y'all getting transformation. This program is transforming them through information that's causing everybody to be released in a certain way of understanding that sometimes you look at football players, you might be in one purpose, then when you retire, you in a different purpose. It just depends.
Could you give me that website again? Because it didn't work out. What was it again?
It's coachupwithtalent.com.
Any space in between, coach?
It's just for Gary something else. No, it isn't, Gary. No, it's not.
No, because I can't find it. Oh, well, if you could text it to me, that'd be great.
Okay, I can see, can I? But I'm about to go off. But Gary, I give it to you, and I will. But what I just wanted to say to tie it up was, as I was praying and as I was having this dream, God was saying, everything that's going on, Gary, in the world now, during all this race violence and stuff, because people have really never gotten into who they were. The perception of what people, that's what I want to talk about next week. The perception of your belief system keeps you bound in a situation that you never seem to have. There you go.
It's Coach Up Talent. Coach Up Talent.
Okay. I know I used to say .com. I guess.
It is .com. Coach Up Talent, not Coach Up with Talent. It's it's coaching, donations, his features. He gets his doctorate. That's why we call him doctor. And he's raising money for the power of vision.
Yes.
And
I want you to donate some money too, Gary. That's why I wanted you to pull it up. I need it.
Okay. As soon as I donate to Willie, I'll donate to you too.
Okay. I'm just fooling with you guys. But there it is. But what I wanted to say is that we have some tremendous people like Gary, Claudine, Anthony on there. And when you look at all what's going on now, it's based on people not understanding their purpose, because now you got people in all type of ways based on their belief system. The belief system keeps you bound and locked to what you're doing in life. That's why I want to talk next week about goals, because most people run away from big goals. And when you look at it, and I was studying it, Gary and Claudette and Tony, that David had a big container of, when I say big container, his wisdom and his potential was so great that he understood what his purpose was. So that's why when he went after the giant, he understood that God saved him from the lion. God saved him from the bear. And so when he came after the giant, he said, this day, he ran toward him. Most people don't run to their giant. It's giants in everybody's life. Most times people are running backwards because they're scared to face the giant. The giant in the next week is going to be goals. What are you scared of? That's the giant in your life. And what I learned by David understood something about God and what God did for him. So I say self-efficacy had inside of him was so big that he could deal with the giant. Most people ain't running to no giant, and he was a kid. So what did he know? What did he know? Everybody got to have the slingshot and the rocks, because you got to run towards your giant, and you can't run backwards. You got to run toward what's going on. Why? Because you release the potential, you release the energy, you release the creativity. That's why when you have a goal that's bigger than you, you don't run away from it, you run to it, because what it does, it releases your potential and it takes it to another level. That's why when you look at major companies, and like you look at Apple, everything they did, they tackled it with things that people never seen in the world. Nobody saw FaceTime. They tackled things because every time he ran to his giant, the potential was released, the energy was released, the understanding was released. So once he did that, he went to another level, and every time he faced the giants, he had the blueprint on how to tackle and cut off the giant's head. When you looked at, I'm from Detroit. I went to the museum and saw Henry Ford. He went to the 4th grade. And I said, how did this man do the 4th grade? Learn all this.
I was thinking about him when you were talking. Oh my God.
And he had mastermind group. That's what I had. Mastermind. He had Goodrich in his group. He had Edison in his group, and they all met together. So what happened was they encouraged Henry Ford. And Henry Ford told his people to go ahead and make an 8-cylinder engine. They said, it's never been an 8-cylinder engine. He said, just start it, and I'll come back to you.
I want it.
And he said, that's what I want. So he already knew in his mind that it could be done. So he already had the goal for it. He just told them. They didn't believe it, and they didn't understand. But once they tackled it, see, when you run to your giant, things start coming to you. Doors start opening up. When I don't have the money to open up this business. I don't have the money to open up this church. The more you run to what God has given you, the more things start to open, because now you're getting potential to understand how to make certain phone calls to certain people. Certain people start coming your way. So when you stay back from and you get afraid, most people when they're afraid of their goals, they say, I'm not doing that stupid stuff. Man, ain't nobody doing that. They stay in a cocoon because they scared to do something that they never did before. So most people are locked in and never release their potential or purpose because they're scared of something that they never seen and never did in their life. Their mama didn't ever teach them. Their father didn't teach them. They never saw it in their culture or the people that they were dealing with. So they stay in that nutshell and never get released of that potential to take them to the levels that they have to. That's why when you have a business, when you teach your people in business, you teach them, you set goals for them. They said, we ain't never done this, CEO, but you send them at that goal. Because each time they reach their potential to release creativity, to release energy. Every goal that you have to have a certain energy and release a certain way. So when you look at it, I'm getting into my message next week, but I'm not going to get all into it. But it's something that you got to understand, that when everything that you do in life, once you understand your purpose, your vision, then it's the goals. The goals become, it's like, oh my God, God is sending me here. That's your giant. You got to conquer your giants in your life. And that's why, where's the giants at? Where everything that what God got for you. You ever notice that? The giants, David asked, what did I get for
Oh,
killing
he's
this giant?
preaching. He's preaching.
No,
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Amen.
Everywhere.
Amen, brother.
I'm reminded of what Gary talks about in the Samson
Gary.
Society and how the
Yeah.
bison goes into the storm instead of running away from it.
There you
Walks
go.
into a sphere,
Yes.
Thank you, Tony.
Yes.
Come on,
Yeah.
I see Anthony gonna be a CEO. I see that I see the transformation. You see the transformation in Claudia. You see the transformation in all of us because we're hearing so much information. But when I looked at it, and I said, "Dang!" Everybody stood on the sideline in Israel while David went. David surpassed everybody, all his brothers, everybody who's been in armies for years. David said, "What did we get? You get to marry the king's daughter." Okay, so all right, I'm ready to go. Put on this armor. Don't put on other people things that you never did before. That's another lesson. That's another lesson. He said, I got what I need to do what I got to do. He said, this day, what are you doing this day to conquer your giant? I'm Anthony, Claudia, Gary. What are we doing this day to conquer our giant? Are we running from it or are we running to it? That's what the message is about. That's what most of us do. We run away from it because we say, oh my God, no, run to it. Run to it. And the more, when you run to it, make sure you have your slingshot and 5 smooth stones. And I'll tell you what the 5 stones stand for, but that's another thing. And once he threw, he said, this day, this is your day. This is Gary's day. This is Anthony's day. This is Claudia's day. Claudia said a profound thing to me. She said, I just had to mention, stay in what? In your lane. See, when everybody's starting to see everything else, if we stay in our purpose and understand what we have, everybody has a thing to do. So when we start looking at everything that's wrong, that's not the thing. What is your purpose, y'all? Stay in your purpose.
Not only that, if people tell you that it's not going to come through, what you are thinking about will never come true. And you want to be better than Amazon, Jeff Bezos, and your thing can't come true. I said, when Jeff Bezos was sitting in his garage writing his first book, could anyone tell me what's gonna be this mogul that basically owns everything? No. So therefore, keep your purpose. Don't let them change it. You're right, Ben. Just stay focused, stay in your lane. Do not deviate, because God has gone ahead and made the crooked path straight.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm saying with all before I leave is, gentlemen, they wanted to kill the Jesus because he understood his purpose. It's many people out here are dying, not by somebody murdering them, because they don't understand their purpose. So they walk around in life not knowing that they might have been one to cure something. They might be one to invent something. They die with that purpose in them. How many people you knew in your family or friends that died with a purpose that never understood? We just work. We are people who survive. That's what we've been taught. But now that you understand your purpose, teach your kids, teach your loved ones about what they need to do to understand how to bring them up. Like Anthony brought up a profound stuff. Raise your kids up to a certain level. If you don't have kids, help kids to be raised in gentlemen. It's more young men that don't understand their purpose. I was talking with 30, 40-year-olds. They said, what are you talking about? And that shocked me. So it's a lot of people, don't matter what age, really don't know. All they're doing is working and surviving in life. And that's no fun. When you get in your purpose, man, that comes from fun. It is a joy to talk to you guys all the time. Half of the time I'm doing it and, ain't no money involved. But it's just, I love to do this so much that I'm doing stuff, and God's going to make a way in a long way, but it's the purpose of making sure.
Well, let's be clear. You like helping people.
Yes, I do, Gary. I like helping people.
That's what your mission is. I just want to be clear that you just don't like doing a radio show. It's just like you like helping people. You like helping people discover their purpose. You help give them direction in their life. Give them a reason for moving forward. Give them a goal that they can shoot.
Yeah, that's right.
And again, one more time, listen, if you need to get in touch with him, just go to coachuptalent.com, coachuptalent.com. And you can go there, you find his email, just click on his email, And do you do remote coaching, Coach? Can someone
Yes,
coach it?
I mean, that's the best way, because all the information we tell Gary, it's not enough time to really go into how people need to grow, how you teach people how to grow. You only got 30 minutes. You need more. You need a lot more time than that. And, you know, when you get that like one-on-one or Zoom with somebody, you get to go through a lot of different principles.
Listen, do me a favor. If you listen and you want some purpose, he's very reasonably priced. He will work with you with any type of issue you have financially. He will get you on the right track. Go to coachuptalent.com, get in contact with Ben, and he could do it on Zoom. You could do it on the phone. You could be anywhere in the country. And and this is a great time to get it done, because everybody's wondering what their purpose is with the COVID. Everybody's sitting at home, afraid of what to do. What should I be doing? You know, now is the time. You know, a great journey is starting with a one step. And the first step, maybe if you're stuck someplace, or if you're finding yourself in a repeating pattern, and get in contact with Ben at coachuptalent.com.
Thank you. I'm about to leave, and I want to thank you, Gary, Tony, Claudette, Josh, some great, y'all great. I love you. Love you guys.
Yeah, we love you too, man.
We love you.
So you take care.
God bless you. We'll see you tomorrow.
God bless you.
All right.
All right, guys. It's just the three of us now.
Okay.
And we just got a couple of minutes. So let's talk. Let's continue. Let's talk about purpose. Do you feel comfortable, Claudia or Tony, sharing what maybe your purpose has been in life and how you've discovered it?
Oh, well, ladies first, Claudine.
Oh, I see you threw me in there.
There you go. Hey, you come on the air, you're gonna get it.
You got it. It's your time.
Sure.
It's your turn.
My purpose is to put people on the spot. You know, God,
right?
when I was like,
Right. The thing, I discovered my purpose is really and truly that one thing that really rubs me wrong, that the injustice. You see, you can't sleep at night, you can't think there. I'm from a family that they're small business owners. And I have realized, especially since my second master's, I did an in-depth research and led two graduate research team on small businesses and how they impact society. And what I have discovered is that small businesses make up about approximately 50% of the developing countries' GDP. That simply means small business collectively in the United States contribute almost 50% of the GDP. And they're not treated as such, right? There's no infrastructure for them. There's nothing for them. And not only that, they don't have a voice. And the World Trade Organization is saying, you know, small business is suffering because they don't have the infrastructure to communicate, and nothing is being done. Australia did something, the UK did something, but here there is, and so that's my passion, to help small businesses. And that's how I got connected with Willie and a lot of other small businesses, because that's my passion. And that's
so are you helping any small businesses now, Claudine? Are you helping any?
Well, yes, I pretty much help them to get online, to, you know, establish their community marketing and branding and all those different communications.
Yeah, the same things I do. Yes.
Yeah. So pretty much, you know, help them in any way they possibly need help. So basically, that's where it is. They need most of the help, though, because they don't have that knowledge or the time to get into all of that. So
Claudine's purpose is to help small businesses make more money, to get more customers.
Make more money.
Nothing wrong with that. If you're in
have
business,
a voice. They need a voice. So.
Yeah. Well, to reach your audience. That's good.
Yes.
Well, we got about 3.5 minutes. Anthony, you got a couple of minutes. How have you found your purpose?
Well, one was by a spiritual test at my old church back in Philadelphia, and I remember the pastor, he gave us some of the congregation tests. One of my spiritual gifts was exhortation, to excite the congregation, but cool. to difference, not to just excite and like hallelujah, amen, and all that, but to actually get people to change and go out and do stuff. And I realized that at times that I speak up at certain parts of my life. And one of my heroes, of course, Martin Luther King, as well as Malcolm X, they were really outspoken. And I realized that times that I'm really outspoken and I take no nonsense and I speak out against sometimes it comes out harshly.
The theme of the first half of the show was pretty clear, that the church should be part of the community. And that's exactly what you're saying. You're saying you're good at getting the church involved in the community. Yeah.
That's one of my strengths. I don't necessarily work in it, but it's certain thing. But more so, it's more so for men, not just the whole congregation, but also for men, because men nowadays, aren't really seen in a good light. We're called all the kind of different names and things, especially African American men in the communities. And I don't subscribe to that because I'm not like that. And so when I hear people talking about that, especially online, I used to say stuff, but now I don't say anything on social media because it's horrible. And
it's useless anyway. And people are nameless, faceless people.
Yeah. And then God, convicted me on it. He was like, get rid of some of that social media. So I have to go and delete some stuff,
Good for you.
delete accounts and all that. But then there's also other gifts and talents and stuff that I have and music and other things that I'm just starting to discover. So God is starting to, birth that in me, So. What about yourself?
Well, I'm pretty good at annoying people. That's kind of one of my gifts.
But I respect your outspokenness. I really like your directness, and I think that has to do with also being from New York City too. So.
Well, it has to do with that, but it also has to. I've learned by having certain positions, and I've got 50 seconds. But I was with Christian Coalition, how to talk to pastors, how to talk to audience. My strength was witnessing to new people. I love to talk to people that don't believe in Jesus, because if you have a brain and you have logic, I can get you to the point where you will believe. Yeah, and I was very successful at doing that. And you know what? The Bible is very logical. Church isn't always logical, but the Bible is. So I would suggest for you to go to church and find out your purpose, and get in touch with Claudine or Anthony or us at
sure.
CFCpage.com, CFCpage.com, and we'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to give us a donation there at CFCpage.com. And we're going to be on tomorrow at the same time. And we appreciate it. And I think we're off now.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you. See you guys tomorrow.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.